They claim she was stabbed 14 times in the back with a curved blade and left to rot in a lake like the cute litter of puppies that Pa said we couldn't afford no more. I've always been one to envy the dead, but her passing filled my soul with a sadness only a fatherless black youth could understand. She may have never loved me back, but I still love her enough to bring her justice. The police had seemingly given up on the case, and I couldn't afford a private detective. If her killer was going to be found, then I had to do it myself.
Oh no! No, come back! God damn it! No! No! Ah, Jack! I won't let go, Jack! Jack, I won't let go!
But I'm no detective, so in order to solve the case, I've begun studying the greatest detectives of all time. Genius investigators like Sherlock Holmes, Jimmy Kudo, and of course, Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo is a Japanese anime that is similar to shows like Detective Conan and One Piece in that it never fucking ends. The anime started airing in 1969, and now nearly 50 years later, they still haven't tied up story arcs that began in the first season. In the very first episode, the character Scooby was attacked by two men in black suits and was force-fed a pill that turned him into a talking dog. And now, 50 years later, we haven't had any development on that storyline other than a few cock teases involving the men in black. Some poor old Japanese man has had blue balls over this shit for 5 decades now, and these hack writers are going to keep padding out the story as long as they possibly can. Lifelong fans of the show are gonna be fucking dead before the story resolves, and that truly disgusts me. Scooby-Doo runs on a formulaic plot that can be best summarized as this. Scooby and his friends are riding around in their windowless van one day when they arrive at some place where there's a monster, and then they work together to catch the monster, and it turns out it was just some dude in a mask all along. Despite its simplicity though, this anime has taught children over the years that monsters aren't things that live under your bed. The real monsters of the world are human beings. A huge oversight by the creators was having any of the monsters be men, because as we all know, women are the true monsters in society. The Scooby-Doo anime has gone through several sagas and anime films over the course of its nearly 50-year run. It all started with the Where Are You, Scooby-Doo saga, which led to the New Scooby-Doo movies arc, and then of course there was the highly controversial The Scooby-Doo Show season. When I was a kid, my favorite saga was A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, where the series made an unprecedented leap backwards in time rather than a leap forward. In this saga, we got to see what Scooby and the gang were like as kids, which was great fan service for those who complained about the lack of lolis in the show. Clearly, Daphne is the hotter of the two girls, but Velma is always sensually bending over and presenting herself, so really, you're justified choosing either girl. I was surprised to learn that in the same vein as Death Note, they made a few live-action Scooby-Doo anime movies as well. In the first movie, they take the concept of the Where Are You, Scooby-Doo arc a bit too seriously, as the plot revolves around Scooby-Doo being actually physically missing rather than attempting to spiritually find himself like he did in the show.
He's gone! What am I gonna do?
The gang advises Shaggy to recall everything he did the previous night, and that's when things start to get a little weird.
Yes, and boobs, lots of boobs, and vagina. Vagina everywhere.
This was really confusing to me, because as a famous YouTube celebrity, I've been to a lot of parties, and I never once saw any boobs or vagina. At the parties I went to, all I ever saw were men in officer uniforms, And there were these cool red flags with black symbols on them. And they got this great DJ who would shout angry speeches all the time. It was awesome. What were those parties called again? Oh yeah, the Democratic National Convention. Something I found particularly interesting about this scene was the choice of clothing for Fred's character. As you can see, Fred is wearing an ascot, which I believe represents his inner struggle and the suffocation he feels from having to solve mysteries all the time. This shows him to be a complex and flawed protagonist, which sets him apart from other kids' cartoons where the characters are more invincibler. So then we flash back to Shaggy's Halloween party and we're introduced to, I'll just let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Cindy. That's S-I-N-D.
Now, I don't know if you caught that because it was really subtle, but luckily I'm very intelligent and full of myself when it comes to understanding the nuances of children's cartoons, so allow me to explain it to you as condescendingly as I can. If you listen closely to when she spells out her name, you'll hear that it is spelled S-I-N. This is very important because, as you may have guessed, it's an acrostic that stands for Scooby is with nephew. This foreshadows the ending of the movie, but if you're an anime genius like me, then you can figure it out from clues like this all the way at the beginning. So Cindy invites Shaggy to have sex, and at this point, Prudy Velma can't stomach the story any longer.
Enough! I don't need to hear this!
I do. I mean, we should hear everything.
So did you and Scoob have sex with that girl?
Whoa! What? No. What is wrong with...
Oh, excuse me while I go throw up.
Somebody's pregnant.
Somebody is clinically retarded.
At this point in the film, I got severely triggered because as a child, the other kids often called me retarded due to my autism. I could handle it just fine when it was only the kids, but then the teachers started doing it too. And then when my parents found out, they joined in. And then I started making YouTube videos. And now everyone in the comments calls me retarded too. Oh. Maybe I am retarded. So then Shaggy and Cindy have sex, and then Fred and Daphne decide that it's time for them to have sex too. Only the thing is, Daphne really wants to get pregnant, so they discuss the best methods for getting knocked up.
What she means is, it's time for us to have sex.
We're gonna make babies, huh, Freddles?
Freddles? Yes, dear. We just need to keep trying new ways.
Does this mean we're not gonna have sex in my ass anymore? Because I don't think that's working.
Well, I bet if I come in your mouth and you swallow, it'll go right down into your tummy.
Where the baby is.
I have a feeling that isn't medically accurate, because if it were true, I would have been pregnant a long time ago. The gang gets into the mystery machine and returns to the mansion where the Halloween party took place so they can look for clues. Long story short, the gang all has sex with each other, and then Shaggy gets a call on the phone. As it turns out, Scooby was at his nephew Scrappy's place all along. Remember that clue I explained at the beginning? S-I-N? Remember? Aren't I such a smart anime genius? Don't I know how to watch animes way betterer than anybody else? Huh? Aren't you jealous of my vast intellect when it comes to Japanese cartoons? Looks like I'm not so retarded now, huh, Mom and Dad? Now thousands of people on the internet know that I'm good at watching Chinese pictograms, so how retarded can I really be? At the end of the day, Scooby-Doo has been an anime cornerstone in the lives of generations of children and adults alike. For many young people, Scooby-Doo was a gateway into the genres of horror and mystery, and it certainly was for me. When I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a detective, and I attribute that aspiration entirely to Scooby and the gang. Unfortunately, now that I am an adult and have a real mystery to solve, I'm at a loss. I tried my best to search for clues like Scooby and the gang did, but I couldn't find anything that would bring me closer to the killer. Maybe, in the end, I am too retarded to bring Alyssa the justice she deserves.
And I guess I just blacked out. I just had this desire to tie up all the loose ends of my life and to end it
This anime review was sponsored by me! If you want to support this show, then check out my Patreon page, or you can hire me to do voice work on Fiverr.com.
Now listen closely. Here's a little lesson in trickery. This is going down in history. If you wanna be a villain #1, you have to chase a superhero on the run.